Okay, so this is DeFuniak Springs. It's got like a perfectly round lake here. It's a very historic town. This road goes like a circle around the lake, and there's a sidewalk on the top of the road and a sidewalk around the bottom by the lake that's a little bit shorter. But this is the library right there. It's a really old, cool library. It's really neat to go in there and look at all the books and everything. But this is the little trip around the lake yard. You can see the lake down there. It's really pretty. Look, the azaleas are already in bloom here. It's crazy. It's not even March yet, and the azaleas are in full bloom. But yeah, this is the lake where my grandparents used to live. My grandfather used to walk around this lake like almost every day. It's probably about a 2-mile walk from his house around this lake and back. And he was even doing it when he was in his 90s. So this is pretty historic, and spent a lot of my youth vacationing here at DeFuniak and driving down to Panama City Beach, Florida, which is only about an hour south of here, as I try not to run into the back of this Dodge. But you can see some very historic buildings here. That building there is very old. Looks like the Henry Mooney Educational Building. Don't think I've ever actually been in there, but I used to ride my bicycle around this sidewalk here. And what was kind of cool was when my grandfather died, you know, he spent all of his life walking around this lake. And so, like, when they did the funeral procession, they actually drove the hearse with the whole funeral procession following behind around this lake one last time before they took him to the cemetery. So that was kind of neat to see that. But you can see they have like a new sidewalk. There didn't used to be a sidewalk on that lake side. Used to just be the sidewalk on this side. But you can see like some of these houses, like look over here, Ash. Look at these houses. Like that thing is pretty old. That one has, like, they're doing some maintenance on it. It has some plywood in the windows, but a lot of these houses along here, look at this one, that's very old historic houses, and like really big pretty trees too. I used to climb in one of these magnolia trees that was just gigantic when I was a kid, and I think I actually got in trouble one time by the owner. They were afraid we were gonna like fall out of the tree or break a branch or something, I'm not sure. But look at this one. Some of these houses just look like a doll house. You can see the very exotic roofs that look like a doll house that like go to a point and stuff. It's really, really pretty through here. But the houses here, a lot of them are probably 100 years old or more. So it's a very historic town here in DeFuniak Springs, Florida. But yeah, it's really pretty. There's more azaleas there in bloom. I don't know if you can see that on the GoPro, but it's weird. It's not even March yet, and a lot of the azaleas are already blooming here. Had such mild, warm weather. There's another shot of the lake. You can see how pretty it is. But look at all the sidewalks in here. It's really great for walking. There's so many sidewalks, and just a great little town to walk around at night. There's another really cool house there. But yeah, we're coming up here just a little bit on the left is actually there's that educational building all the way across the lake now. You see we've gone already halfway across around the lake. But coming up here on the left is actually my favorite house. It's kind of like a blue dollhouse looking thing, and it's just like really cool looking house. It's coming right up here on the left. And there's a couple churches up here. This church up here is the Methodist church where my grandparents went to church. But there is the dollhouse looking house. Look how gorgeous that house is. It is just beautiful. That is my favorite house here on the DeFuniak Springs Lake Circle Drive. But yeah, then there's like the chateau here. My sister, when she got married here, she actually took a horse carriage ride around the lake, and they stayed in the hotel here. It's called the Chautauqua Hall of Brotherhood, but they stayed in that hotel, I believe it was, that was downtown DeFuniak, and they rode the horse carriage around. But we're gonna go by my grandmother's house just so you can kind of get an idea of how far my grandfather walked every day. Like he would go all the way around that lake, and we are taking the route now to his house, so you'll see just how far he walked every day. It was probably about 2 miles. But even into his 90s, he would walk around that lake a lot of days. So he was always in very good shape and lived to be 99 years old. So I guess if you want to live a long time, you know, walk a good bit. But here's the road that they lived on here, Acadia Avenue. I don't know if you can see that street sign, but come right down here and look at this. There's like a tree right there across from the neighbors. It's like in full bloom, like a cherry tree or something. Or no, it's a Japanese magnolia. It's absolutely gorgeous. But a couple of my friends used to live right there. Alan and I forgot the other boy's name. But here is my grandparents' house right here. You can see it's over 100 years old now. They don't live there anymore. We sold the house a few years back, but that was the house. She used to have a garden right back here in the back, and grew a lot of her own food. But yeah, a lot of good memories there.